I am particularly excited about this video. I haven't done a video about tools for quite some time now, and it's one of the videos that you kind of ask for quite regularly, and I felt like it's about time I do an update. But not only do I do an update, I'm going to create the ultimate bike backyard mechanics toolbox ever. That's a mouthful. Is that what I called the video? I'm incredibly lucky because about 7-8 months ago, Lifeline Tools hooked me up with basically everything I'd ever need, including like stands, toolboxes, parts, tools, lots of tools. But I'm quite the creative person, and anybody who's out there who's quite creative knows what I mean when I say I leave a mess and I leave a trail when I do anything. More importantly, when I'm doing something, whether it be, well, bikes, as that's what we do around here, I kind of just slowly just lose my tools throughout the build, and then I end up using a multi-tool instead of using a 5mm hex wrench that I misplaced hours ago, and I haven't been able to find it since. Until you do find it when you tighten up and it was just underneath a box. Well, no more. If you've seen the thumbnail, you know already that what I'm planning on creating today is essentially a toolbox with some shadow foam inside, which is essentially layered foam that you can cut into the shape of the tools, stick the tools all in, and then you always know where they go and you can put them back there. But not only that, I wanted to create a toolbox and a tool setup that I could pretty much pick up and take wherever I wanted. At the end of the day, I am the backyard mechanic. Stickers available just here, so you know. That's the earliest sticker plug I've ever done. But before I go into the shadow foam, the toolboxes and all that sort of stuff, let's start with the tools. I wanted to give you a little bit of an update to the list of the things that I've added to it, because I've added a few extra tools, but also kind of like my baseline of things that I think you should own. Okay then, so this is going to be a reasonably quick rundown of tools, so make sure you got your pens ready and to take notes. But number one, a decent set of Allen keys. These ones are the Pro T-bars from Lifeline. There's loads of different variations of these you can get. You can spend £2, you can spend hundreds of pounds. It depends on where you want to buy them from. The biggest thing I would say is get something that is reasonably priced and semi-decent from a brand you know. It doesn't have to be one of these fancy ones with all these different bits on and blah 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 blah. As long as it's something semi-decent, because this is a tool that you will have forever and you'll use the most regularly, to be honest. So this is one of the ones that I'd spend a little bit extra on and get something that's going to last. Next is spanners, but more in particularly, I would say it's very good investment to get some that have a ratchet on the end. A ratchet essentially, very satisfying, but there's lots of bolts, especially on retro bikes, that like you're going to be there for ages, so a little ratchet on there to get it off nice and easily and quickly is going to save you some time, and it's also super satisfying. I would then say, and this is a mini ratchet. Reason being is little things like bolt cages in particular, like being able to get this in that little tiny gap to kind of get the bolts out, really useful, but also kind of brakes and all sorts of stuff. Like, it's just nice to be able to get something in there that isn't an Allen key that you can get nice and easy, but it's also got a ratchet, so you can just kind of like get those little tight spaces. A lot of the retro bikes have tight spaces, so I think they're very necessary. While we're still on Allen keys, spanners and that kind of category, something like this, like these are often like skate tools, but like something with like essentially a 4, a 6 and a 5mm Allen key on it. I find these really useful when I'm stripping down bikes. It means I can have this in my pocket and then multiple bolts, these are the most common ones I'd say for a lot of the bikes I work on. So I don't have to keep going swapping. I can literally have this in my hand, take the bit I need off, move on to the next part. I just need to flick it around and then I can do this on this part. You know, it's super easy when you're stripping bikes in particular. Crank puller, BB tool, cassette tool. All of these ones require a spanner as well. I get a big boy adjustable one, especially for doing the bottom bracket. So those ones kind of, they speak for themselves. They've taken those special parts off, but it's another one that you'll use on every bike. A chain tool of some sort. There's lots of different variations of this. This one's a very well built, nice one that I absolutely adore. But yes, something like this for just breaking chains, taking them off. You're going to do that quite often as well. Another one that's going to come in handy quite often when you're removing parts is a chain whip, or this is one of these fancy ones that's kind of like a crocodile. But yeah, chain whip. Headset remover for the actual cups that are going to the actual frame itself. You can use bits of wood, you can use screwdrivers, stuff like that. If you want to save that headset and try and get it into the bike again, I definitely suggest getting a couple of these. There's only really 2 or 3 sizes you'd need. I'm not going to tell you those off the top of my head right now, I don't know. But yeah, they're really cheap, quite useful. You can actually make these out of old handlebars or seat posts. I've seen 2 people do that. But yeah. And then there's a few like speciality tools, which I'm not going to really go massively into this video because I kind of want to know what you guys want to know about. So if there are tools that you want me to go into more detail in, do you want me to do a big long tool video? Let me know down in the comments and we can get that sorted. But the one I do want to tell you about is this. This is a crown race remover. This I need for my Kona UTE because the beautiful fork that I painted, that is a bit more yellow in real light, but it looks kind of cool still. The crown race on it is toast. It's so the pits are like craters. It's so bad. I was gonna just build it up and just be like meh, but after speaking to a lot of you guys on the video about this bike, which I'll link there, we've decided that it's best to just actually get on with it and just remove this. So to remove that, you need a speciality tool. I'm going to show that in more detail in another video. So if you do want to see me use some speciality tools and finish this build, subscribe to the channel. It's free. I make videos every week and you're going to love it. Right, now we've talked about tools, let's build the toolbox. Shadow Foam have a YouTube channel of their own, and on one of my days sat on the sofa scrolling through the internet, I stumbled across a video they made using a Halford's, I think they're called the Pro tool case. This thing here, it's on the screen right now. And I really like the way it looked. Essentially, they have the foam, 2 pieces of foam that they will cut to the right size for you. You literally stick them inside the box and then you cut your tools and stick them inside. I felt like that was gonna be super easy to achieve, and like it's not, like drawers annoy me. I like to be able to like lay it out and be able to look at all the tools. I think that was the thing that appealed to me the most. So this was like, this could be really useful, this could work. So I went on to Halfords, I bought the toolbox, and I bought some foam for Shadow Foam, and then I sat it on it for like 2 months. But then I got to it, and then we started building it. The first thing I had to do was actually lay all the tools out and try and work out where I wanted them to go. It was actually quite a satisfying process. It also gave me time to kind of work out what tools I use the most and kind of where I want them to be. Like, I felt like some of those tools, like the Allen keys and the spanners that I use quite regularly, should be next to each other. And then maybe some of the tools that I don't use that often would be in a different section further away, and so on. So it took me some time to work out what I wanted. The one thing I would say though is the fact that I then slept on it and decided I hated it and started again. The next day I actually got around to doing it. I spent some time using some reference from other toolkits, not necessarily just Shadow Foam's website and stuff like that, but like just other toolkits that are made by companies. And I found this hex key layout that I quite liked. That was the one thing I wasn't too sure about. And it definitely freed up some space that I could add some more to this foam, or this side of the toolbox. Once I kind of found exactly how I felt like I wanted to do this one, I stepped away again, walked away, had some lunch, did whatever I did, and then come back to it with fresh eyes and felt like I really liked it. So I moved everything out of the way, but I did take some photos first. Make sure you take some photos first. And then I started cutting. Very dramatic, I know, but it was quite scary doing that first cut, and I messed it up massively. You can't quite tell in the footage, but like where I've cut down one side, I've kind of done it twice because I didn't do it in the right place, and then I did it twice. It's rubbish, it really is. But the reason I'm telling you about this is the fact that this stuff is extremely forgiving. A friend of mine actually mentioned when I said that I was going to do this, it's really forgiving. He had a few issues and it was good, so that was really good to know. Yeah, it was fine. It's like a little bit loose. I reckon if I put a little bit of glue in there or something, it'd be absolutely fine. No one would ever know. So maybe I'll do that. But I'm not going to go into loads of detail on how to cut this. I do actually urge you to go over to the Shadow Foam website. It is their product. They know it very, very well. They've not asked me to do anything like this. So I think you should go there and actually find out from the pros exactly the best ways of doing this, because I make a hash of everything. But whilst you're here and you're wondering, essentially what I did was you hold it down with one hand and then very carefully stencil out the tool or the thing you're cutting around. I was going far too deep at the beginning and kind of trying to cut the whole thing in one go, but the trick is to stencil it first. You peel back that black layer, the first layer, and then from there you can then carve out the depth and the shape of the tool you need. So after a lot of cutting later, I was almost finished with the first card, and the last thing I needed to add was the finger pulls. Shadow Foam actually have this cool like ruler on their website where it has like different holes and different shapes and stuff in it to do that, but I use this metal stick thing and use that, and it worked the same way, but essentially it just gives you that place to be able to put your finger and just pull it out really easy and really quickly, and then that was done. I did move over to the other card. There was less tools that I had to do in this one, some slightly more complicated shapes, which was quite cool and quite fun, but that was it, and we now have the ultimate tool case, and it sort of looks like this. It's way heavier than it looks, I should say that. And that's that. That was reasonably easy to do, if I'm really honest. Took a little bit of time to kind of like work out exactly how I was going to do it and kind of where the tools wouldn't go, but the actual process itself was pretty chill, and it's quite relaxing and satisfying, if I must say. But go check out Shadow Foam. Their website, or their YouTube channel, sorry, is just full of build videos and stuff. So if you're into my kind of content, I'm sure you'll be into theirs as well. So it's worth checking it out. I've watched most of their videos now. Very, very good. The last thing to mention though is that gap there. I purposely left that. One of the lights just gone out. Where was I? The gap. So I've left that gap on purpose because I want to cut in my logo. But I couldn't decide if to put Second Life Bikes, kind of like the drippy kind of logo, or put some sort of variation of the Save Old Bikes logo. So I thought I'd leave that down to you. So let me know which one I should put in there. Put it down in the comments below, and I will cut it out, and I'll probably pop it up on as a YouTube short. Yeah, that's the end of the video. On the mention of logos and stuff, there are a bunch of limited edition stickers available at the moment, these kind of gold and black ones. There's that one, and there's also one with the Bulky Boy Bike Club on there. They are very limited, but I've also updated a few of the stickers as well. I've slightly updated the Save Old Bike sticker. You can't really see it very well because it's so super shiny, but a friend of mine who's a designer mentioned the font and gave me a few tips, so it's now a little bit fresher, a little bit more spicy around the edges. But I also have this new one here. This was actually suggested by one of you guys in the comments. Nice rack sticker. It is probably one of the favourite ones I've done in a long time. I absolutely love it. So thank you for the ideas, guys. So yeah, fresh new stickers on the website, saveoldbikes.com. And there we go. That's the end of the video. I think I've said that twice or maybe at least once already, but this time I mean it. If you want to see more content like this, feel free to subscribe to the channel. I make videos every week and they are absolutely free and you're going to love them. If you can't wait till next week, this one here is a particularly good one.